Welcome to a day of a life in flow. It's day 11 and still in follicular, maybe ovulation cusp, but my thermometer 100% broke, so I'm gonna wait for my temp drop to come instead of replacing a new one, so we'll see what happens. But busy day yesterday. My bestie was here. She had just lost her stepfather and was sorting and helping her mom with everything, so lots of catching up and sort of chit-chatting and processing with her. I took her on a walkabout this morning. And today I'm teaching my business foundations class for my period coaching school students, and I'm launching The Revolution Will Be Bloody for this week only at the printing price, so like the very lowest price possible. So a very busy week, which is perfect for this follicular ovulation phase. I'm looking forward to knocking all of that out, looking forward to teaching this class tonight, and looking forward to selling as many copies of the book as I possibly can, 99 cents for the ebook. It's a day of a life in flow. It has been a up and down day. It's day 12 for me, right around ovulation, and I hit double my income goal for the last 100 days of the year today, and I still have 16 days to go. And the Supreme Court basically struck down Roe versus Wade. So I don't know how to feel. So instead, I'm eating a pumpkin turtle, and I'm having a cup of decaf green tea because endometriosis cannot have caffeine, but just needed that kind of green tea feeling. I don't know. And hope it gets better. That's my plan. Stasha the period coach here. In light of our current Supreme Court issues, reproductive rights and potentially our even reproductive limited knowledge that we already have may be also restricted. We're also going to be looking at things like birth control being much harder to get, Plan B being absolutely impossible to get. So let's take charge of our fertility. We are fertile for 6 days a month. So obviously I'm talking about consensual situations, but we have the control in these situations. We are fertile for 6 days a month. This is something that you can predict, you can do it accurately, and when you do fertility awareness method accurately, you're looking at an over 99% success rate. So it is very effective. When you are fertile, there are 3 key signs. Your cervical fluid will be stretchy, kind of raw egg whitey or creamy, but there will be a ton of it, and that will tip you off to you being in peak, like you just ovulated, peak fertility. You're also looking for a high, open, soft cervix. So your cervix will rise, it will open, it will get softer, which feels like your lower lip compared to when it's hard and it feels like the tip of your nose. And it will be high, open, soft, and wet. That's all that cervical fluid during ovulation. Now you can confirm your ovulation by getting your basal body temperature. This is taking your temperature at approximately the same time every day. First thing, before you even sit up in bed, you immediately take your temperature. When you move from your menstrual phase, your follicular phase, you ovulate. The day after you ovulate, your temperature will go up about a degree. So you need a thermometer that can do points, so like 96.89 or 97.01, right? So then you will see about 1 degree, even in Celsius, temperature spike after you've ovulated. So this confirms your ovulation. So you're going to be fertile until that temperature spike exactly, and then you want to give it a 24-hour window. Now you can use barrier methods in that time. The more you do this, the longer you practice it, the more clear your fertility signs will come in, and you'll be able to really nail what your 6 fertile days are. Learn more, get help, hire a period coach, message me, let's talk about it, but learn more about your cycle. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can do in a lot of different circumstances. It's just wisdom that we've lost, but we are refining it, we're recreating it, we are putting it back together. So we have a lot more power in our cycles than we know. And while we continue to fight for our bodily autonomy and our rights over reproductive systems, we can still use this knowledge to our advantage, and we should continue to do that even when we get equality. All right, I'm done ranting. Message me for more information. Go learn. Something that I recommend to people who are menstruating is liver. It is iron rich, it has minerals in it that we need, and it was often saved in traditional cultures for the menstruating people. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things that makes a big difference, even though you just need a tiny bit. So I'm gonna make a marinara tonight, and I'm gonna use some very strange ingredients because it's literally just what I have in my refrigerator and freezer right now. And that's gonna be good enough and probably delicious. We'll find out at the end. This is what I'm starting with: celery, onion, garlic. I don't have any carrots, so I'm using a cup of pumpkin puree I made from my pumpkins over Halloween, a little bit of liver, and some beef, which normally I would use mushrooms, but you gotta give something meaty to kind of blend that liver flavor a little bit. So I'm gonna use this grass-fed beef, but mushrooms is also something that I really like to use in this place. Scraps go into a scrap bag and go into the freezer and turn into veggie broth that goes into the sauce. Yay! Free stuff! I also added a can of tomatoes. Yeah, they were whole. That was me screwing up. I stuck them in the food processor and made them more saucy. A thing of tomato paste, and I usually use 2 cans, but I had just a little bit of marinara left from a previous batch, so I threw that in instead. I may not have fresh mushrooms, but I have dried mushrooms. They're going into some veggie broth, and they're gonna simmer until they get nice and plump, and then I'm gonna dice them up and throw them back into the sauce, which I'm gonna do some seasoning with some seaweed. Yes, seaweed. Oregano, because I love it. Italian seasoning. Smoked paprika, because I just like a little bit of smoky smell. And I will stick a bay leaf in there as well. I don't measure. I quite literally just sprinkle things in. So giant pile of Italian, slightly smaller pile of oregano, seaweed, and then I just did a nice little thing of the smoked paprika before, and I stuck the bay leaf in before. I'm gonna do some salt. And then I'm gonna put the phone down and crack some pepper. Now we let it simmer, and then once it's had a nice long simmer and it's reduced, I'm gonna put some handfuls of baby spinach in there, probably several handfuls, so it's got a nice greens to it, and we will have marinara. All right, we're ready. It's the next day. It's been cooking all day. Put it away for the night, cooked again all day, and here we go. Stasha, the period coach here. It's a day of a life in flow. I am on day 15, which for me is my early luteal phase. I finished ovulation, had a day where I just definitely felt my energy dip, knew that was my day post-ovulation, and starting to feel the estrogen rising again now, which has been lovely. Last evening, I did a bunch of batch cooking, so I've got really good foods that are deeply supportive and nourishing of my deep luteal and menstrual phase, ready to go for when I have that deep fatigue, especially that endometriosis fatigue that makes you just kind of not want to care or do anything in later luteal and menstrual. And then today I am playing with cross stitch, something I haven't done since I was a kid, which I remember making one once, but I wanted to try something that was off screens, more meditative, more relaxing. So I'm going to give it a try. I got a sassy one, and I'll let you know how it goes. It's a day of a life in flow. Stasha, the period coach here. I am on day 15. This is into that luteal phase, post-ovulation, little energy dip. It's also Sunday, which is just mentally one of those days that it's hard to really check in. So I didn't. In fact, I actually spent pretty much all day on the couch next to the fireplace. It was raining outside, doing this cross stitch that now I'm silly close to finishing. Yeah, I was gonna cook. I was gonna do some more batch cooking, but I just needed the day off. So I took it. I just gave myself, let myself off the hook and just enjoyed Sunday. Though I do like to cook, I do like to piddle around in the kitchen, so that's not generally a chore, but it just felt like too much today, so I didn't.